Through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again another day committed to being your consumer advocate, all about helping you understand your buying decisions and making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Save our hotline number. We'd love to connect with you. You can also reach us at consumerqb.com. You can go there and see links to all of our previous shows, connect with our on-air expert contributors. And these are folks that take time out of their busy schedule. They come in and serve the community to help you become a more informed consumer, help you avoid a lot of the commission-based advice that's so prevalent out there. I call it commission breath sometimes. You look around and people are, have these offers either online or in person, and it's sometimes bad advice, sometimes a little bit holding something back. But this show is kind of designed to peel that onion layer back, peel the curtain back, and show you exactly here's how you can save time and money when it comes to 80 different categories of consumer advocate content and advice. Attorneys, CPAs, great financial advice here on the show today as well. We've got Fred Muth coming up, the Tin Man. He's our contractor expert contributor. Thomas King is in the house as well, owner, Florida Firearms Academy self-defense expert and Second Amendment advocate on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we have our friend Mark HAYE as well. He's a financial professional here, corporate vice president, 21st Century Financial Group. Talk about financial planning, life insurance, and estate planning with Mark HAYE coming up here in just a moment. And let's give a quick shout out to our friends at Veteran Gutters. Brandon Porter and his team, they do such a great job with gutters. If you have a residential, commercial property and you want to protect your asset, get some gutters on there. Veteran Gutters, Brandon Porter, nothing but great feedback from all the folks that we've sent to him. And he is a veteran. He served our great country. So please support his business, Veteran Gutters. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Now, we like to feature our real estate listings also live on air, help our sellers profit more, sell faster, utilizing our innovations with radio, TV, and internet marketing. So we've got a property at 14663 Village Glen Drive. This is in beautiful Carrollwood, Florida, Tampa, Florida. Great opportunity to own real estate. 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath property here. Beautiful property, 1,951 square feet. Gorgeous updates throughout the home. Beautiful kitchen, and you've got a pool, screened-in lanai, outdoor shower, and just a lot of features. Jacuzzi tub as well. 14663 Village Glen Drive in Tampa. And you can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, Mark HAYE in the house. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, man. And yeah, a lot of uncertainty. Here we go. The market's changing. We knew this day was coming. We knew these days were coming, I should say. And a lot of challenges for people. What's your advice?
Well, first I want to say shout out to the Lightning. I don't know, Consumer Quarterback Show, but I went to the game on Sunday afternoon and with Danny Ruiz, another successful advisor here in Tampa, and man, shout out to them. Hoping for the three-peat, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's cool, man. It's always
very cool.
Tampa's got so much going on. It's hard to keep up.
So much going on. I love it. I love it.
Great place to live, work, and play. One of the hottest real estate markets in the country. And we were kind of talking pregame here. The real estate market's starting to see a little bit of a lull. The absorption rates were in the 90s. Now they're in the 80s, and not calling for a big huge shift here, but I'm telling you, it is slowing down. The Federal Reserve printing paper, raising rates. You were starting to see a little bit of the effects of that, and I'm curious how that's playing out in your world.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that continue on. I think we just entered a bear market here. And I think Tampa Bay, though, is a good place to still invest in real estate, just because I think it's been undervalued for such a long time.
Right.
That people are starting to realize how magnificent of a city it is to be in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's definitely starting to fizzle out, if not cool down. We have a lot of clients that will put investment properties in their IRA, and that used to be, easy, in and out. Now it's taking some time. It's just a little bit more complicated, I guess, or not as much inventory, or a little bit more price than they want to as an investor. So we're seeing it on our end too.
Yeah, so you have that IRA, that retirement account where you can add assets into that, so you're taking advantage of the tax implications as well through those vehicles. You
got it. I mean, I personally have some real estate in my own IRA. We do it for our clients. Obviously, it's got to be investment property, but it's a good asset to keep in there. It appreciates tax deferred. We like to tell people you like to have at the end of the day when you retire about 350 to 500,000 in that tax deferred bucket or an IRA.
Yeah.
Because when quantum minimum distribution comes or RMD comes, the government's going to make you spend that money, and if you hit that number right, you'll actually take out your standard deduction and you'll get that money tax free. So it's kind of like the holy grail, as David McKnight might say, of financial planning. You put in pre-tax, you came out tax free. It's like a perfect investment, but you got to hit that dollar. If you go $1 million into that IRA and you're taking out 40, 50,000, you're going to pay taxes on that, Social Security, pension, etc. So it's a fine-tuned type thing, but that's what we try to do is just have multiple streams of income, make things tax-free. The IRA could be tax-free, Social Security, your Roth, your supplemental life insurance retirement plan, and that's what we try to do is focus on multiple streams of income.
Yeah, that's great. Going in pre-tax, I mean, that's a win, and then taking it out tax-free, huge win, especially when you're in a lower, presumptively you're older in life. You're at that point in life where you're kind of living off of some of those savings, some of those investments, so you're not earning, the middle six-figure income or whatever it might be any longer. So it's a win-win for folks that are in that position.
Yeah, and I think too, working with realtors like yourself, I think what's happening with the real estate market and what I think is going to be an answer to realtors and advisors in general is going after the investor or the person with the second vacation home. I think those are the people that you're going to be looking at in the next year or two, because you're going to see a lot of things change.
Right.
Where they're going to have to maybe get rid of the second or third home, or the investment property's got to go because the price of goods are going up. Taxes are going up. I mean, market's going down, so things just change fast. But I think that's where the opportunity is: investors, second homes, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Move up buyers as well. I explained that after a reset here. Mark HAYE on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Corporate Vice President, 21st Century Financial Group. He's a financial professional here in Tampa Bay. You can meet with him, have a consult with him, of course. And so move up buyers. I was kind of teasing that. So when you look at a move up buyer, what a great opportunity for somebody that maybe is living in a $250,000 to $300,000 home to be able to buy at that higher price point, because then you have less competition in the $800,000 to $900,000 home price point range. So it's a great opportunity for move-up buyers. What other opportunities do you see for folks right now?
Well, right now, too, we're doing a lot of money is going into supplemental life insurance plans, or we call them SLRPs. And the reason we're doing that is because that money is guaranteed and it works with inflation. So people probably understand that interest rates are going up. Inflation is, 8%, 8.5% that they claim. Probably more than that, but let's call it 8%. That your money sitting in cash in the bank is losing at that rate. Whereas if you put it into cash value or supplemental life insurance plan, that goes with interest rates. So you have inflation protection. A lot of people don't understand what that contract can do for people. But just real quick, and I kind of put together this for you guys, but life insurance companies are the safest industry to be in. So if you took the Great Depression, 9,000 banks went under during the Great Depression. Well, 2% of assets in life insurance companies were even affected. You put money into supplemental retirement plan. Let's say you retired January 1st of this year, okay? And your day was, I retired January 1st, and here we are today, May 24th. Well, the market's down 25, 30%. Mm-hmm. So you look at your portfolio of $1 million and you take 25%, that's $250,000 that you lost in retirement in your first 4 months. Mm-hmm. You're living off of that asset. Now, all of a sudden, the cost of goods are going up so high, you got to take more out of that asset just to live.
Right.
And so the problem is people that don't have another bucket of money to spend in retirement, like a SLRP or a Roth IRA or something like that, they don't have something to tap into, and that's how people run out of money 10 or 15 years sooner than someone that has multiple streams of income.
Right. Yeah. Especially if you're in that, where everything's coming against you at once.
Correct.
Right? As you mentioned, you're kind of rowing the boat, but that stream's coming at you. The water's flowing faster and faster, and you're rowing the same speed. You're losing ground.
You got it. So I tell people, if you have all your money in the market, you're going to be subject to the market. You need to diversify, and a lot of times we take the bond portfolio and put it into a SLRP, supplemental life insurance plan, because it pays 35 times more than your savings account. It's protected from creditors. It's guaranteed growth. It's Medicaid versatility. You can take a lump sum, turn it into income. It avoids taxation, 100% tax-free retirement.
Yeah.
And there's no limit to what you can put into it.
Yeah.
So if you say I want to open a Roth IRA, and I'm over 50, I'm going to put $7,000 a year. It's hard to catch up at $7,000 a year.
Right.
Some people will put in $7,000 or less because that's what they can afford, but some people need $70,000 a year or $100,000 a year to put away to just to have their lifestyle. So we have clients that put away $50 a month. We have clients that put away $250,000 a month into these plans, but there's no limit, and that's why it's such a advantage to people to take, because it is the biggest tax break in the tax code is cash value life insurance.
Wow. Yeah, I like that. That's a great idea. So we're talking with Mark HAYE here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, 21st Century Financial Group. What's the website again, Mark, where in case folks want to just go to the website?
www.xxifinancial.com.
xxifinancial.com. All right. And Mark, when we look at, what I was going to ask you, what does your average client look like, or maybe our audience out there, if they can envision themselves sitting down with you, walking through a consultation, what does that process look like?
Yep, we take on anybody. Anybody that wants to learn, we'll be happy to do it. So we have young families that are starting out with young kids that just need traditional term insurance and start up a retirement plan, or we want to start a college savings account for our kids. We have advisors in my office that we can delegate people to. Certainly, I can't get to all thousands of people that I'm servicing now and bringing in, but we have advisors in our office that can take on clients. If you want to specifically ask what kind of clients we look at people that believe taxes are going to go up in the future.
Right.
And that's just our philosophy. We think taxes are going to go up in the future, and we think that could decimate your retirement. And so how do we get money into a tax-free bucket or a tax-free stream of income, and how do we do that before January 1st, 2026? Because we know that's when taxes go up if Congress does nothing, and they're very good at doing nothing.
Yeah.
So it's going to be happening sooner than you think, and people don't realize that if you're in a 24% tax bracket today, 4 years from now you're in a 34, just like that.
Wow.
So you're paying 10% more right now, 4 years from now, doing nothing different. Now the cost of goods is up 33%, gas is up 300%. You get my point. If you don't start acting now, your deadline is January 1st, 2026. You got to start moving assets now and start shifting them to a tax-free. Otherwise, you're going to be succumb to whatever government decides they want to do.
Right.
At that particular time.
Right. Yeah.
Which
absolutely.
We talked before. You're going to have to raise taxes. You're going to have to cut, and they don't want to cut.
They don't cut.
No.
Well, we know that. So they're going to raise taxes. Talk to me last time you had mentioned, too, about Social Security and some of the other programs out there that are just going to be pretty much bankrupt in the next few to several years, right?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, right now, Social Security is bankrupt in 2032. Okay, so you have 10 years there. 2026 is Medicaid. Though Medicare, and Social Security are the biggest, I should say, not say drain, but the biggest expense on our economy. Mm-hmm. And no politician wants to step up and attack it because it's doom.
Right.
If you say, okay, we need to really start talking about Social Security, Medicaid, and what we're going to do about it because we're out of money, the can can't get kicked any further than 2026.
Right.
So we're on the cusp of it.
Right.
You're not going to get rid of Social Security for grandma because I'm sure you've heard the politicians. I know, I think the guy up north, I forget his name now, Minnesota, but he was running, talking about we need to get Social Security under control and Medicaid, and they show him pushing grandma off a cliff, and he hates,
not
the
a
older
good way to get reelected.
It's
right?
just not a good way. So no one wants to tackle it, but
Right.
it's $200 trillion that we have unfunded liability of it, and
Right.
if you have all your money sitting in retirement accounts that are taxable later, you are going to pay that. That's why we say Roth IRAs, cash value life insurance, start getting money in there. Otherwise, you're going to be succumbed to that government.
And Mark, if you're a small business owner out there, also there's some things you can do to bring in, some like nice passive type programs. Like you said, take a little bit out of your monthly pay or your weekly paycheck, put it into these tax-free things. Business owners, entrepreneurs, they can contact you and get this set up for their company too.
Absolutely, and we have for business owners executive bonuses where you can actually discriminate with employees. We set up 401k, simple IRAs, whatever it needs to be set up, we'll do it for you. But we also have plans that you can discriminate for people that want to do what's called like a golden handcuff on top employees that they can't lose. That's running an office that if I lost this person, my business would change drastically. And so we can do things for benefits for employees, yourself, wife, etc., and take advantage of some of these tax laws that you get as a business owner.
Right.
For example, long-term care in Tampa Bay area is a very, very it's a hot topic, because
care.
people move down here and all of a sudden their parents need assisted living, nursing home care, and they're realizing that's very expensive.
Right.
So we look at long-term care and just take an example. If a business owner pays a long-term care premium from the business, it's 100% deductible to that business. For you, the wife, the employee, the kids, whoever has that plan, and it does not show up in their W-2 as income, So you get 100% deduction to have this plan, to give it to an employee or your spouse or yourself, and then you get all the benefits tax-free.
Right.
So you deduct, and get the benefits tax-free. So it really costs you nothing. You're going to spend the money somewhere.
Right.
You know, you might as well have a benefit for you, your spouse, or even an employee that you can't lose, etc.
And the peace of mind.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that you can do to take advantage of the code and say, look, what can I do for a benefit, but I need a deduction as well.
Right. Absolutely. All right, Mark, that's about our time. Can you give us your final thought and where folks can connect with you?
Yeah, you can certainly call me at 727-222-4550. You can also email me at mhaye, HAYE, at xxicenturyfin.com, and be happy to talk to anybody and everybody.
All right, good stuff. Hey, always a wealth of information, Mark. Thank you. That's good stuff, man.
Thank you.
My
Go
pleasure.
Bolts.
That's right, yeah. All right, coming up, Thomas King in the house. We've got our self-defense expert, Second Amendment advocate here, Florida Firearms Academy, coming up on the show. Later on, we're going to talk with Fred Muth as well, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. And follow us online, connect with our podcast, Spotify, iTunes, The Consumer Quarterback Show. Download the podcast. That would mean the world to us. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you've been listening to the phenomenal Brandon Rhymes, the Consumer Quarterback Show.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com. Have you desired more income and more freedom in your life? Now is your time. Keller Williams Realty has just launched our own real estate school, and you can get licensed for free. I'm Brandon Rhymes, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And for the first 3 people who reach out, I will personally coach you. 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. ConsumerQB.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. You can reach out, brhymes@kw.com if you'd like to connect. brhymes@kw.com is my email. And consumerqb.com as well for the website. We'd like to feature our real estate listings live on air and help our sellers profit more and sell faster. We got a property at 700 North Osceola. This is in Clearwater, waterfront, beautiful property. And unit number 405 at 700 North Osceola Avenue, number 405, Clearwater. Almost 1,600 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, and just a beautiful property, completely updated, upgraded on the inside. And you've got a lot of awesome amenities as well. Saltwater pool, gym, private boat dock, walking distance to downtown Clearwater. 700 North Osceola Avenue, number 405 in Clearwater. And you can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, we got Thomas King in the house, Florida Firearms Academy. Welcome back, sir.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure, man. Yeah, so a lot of good stuff happening. Let's start with your event. You got an event this Saturday, Chili Cook-Off?
Chili Cook-Off.
Nice.
Best chili wins an AR-15, plus a lot of other prizes, and we're going to have our national celebrity guest come in. She's Leanne Whippen from the Pit Boss. She was crowned King of the Q. And our neighbor, he's Steve. He's good friends with her, so he's bringing it along. He's the master chef. They're going to judge the show, the chili, and the person that wins the AR is going to be People's Choice. The gift certificates and all that stuff's coming from our national celebrity judges.
Sweet. Awesome. That's got a lot of fun. Florida Firearms location?
At 13317 West Hillsborough Avenue. Also, we're going to have a lot of vendors there, so you can shop, check out other people's firearms, check out other things that people are selling, and then it's our suppressor party. So if you are a member, you get free ammo, range-free targets, eyes and ear protection. You get to try a bunch of firearms that have silencers on them. If you are not a member, it's $15 to do it all.
I like that. Got the silencer going. Pew!
That's super cheap. I mean, range fees are more than that, and you get to get all ammo, everything free. Targets, eyes, ear protection.
Heck yeah.
So we just like taking care of our members.
That's right. So self-defense, speaking of self-defense, it's an election year. You got summer coming up.
Getting
and
crazy.
Remember what happened last time we had an election year in the summer?
Yeah, riots and riots and riots. And they
Peaceful
predict
protest.
this summer to be even worse than last summer.
Yeah.
Roe v. versus Wade coming up. You have, they said the one big one is gas prices and food shortages.
Wow.
So you can't afford gas, can't afford food. I guarantee you the crime rate's going to go through the roof. So you're going to probably see that out on the street. So make sure you are armed or have some kind of way of defending yourself or your family.
Yeah, and protect yourself. Concealed carry, get that concealed carry license. And that's one of the things you guys take great pride in is teaching people, having that training to properly load, hold, aim, and shoot.
Right. We just had USCCA. They flew in this week. The whole weekend they stayed here. They did, I don't know how many classes. It was 1 hour session classes, and it was all different classes. But some people just stayed to take all of them because they were $20 classes. But it was so much information that it was actually overwhelming for some people. Like, wow, that was just amazing. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
And we did it at a price that was so affordable. But it was talking about going into a fight, at the aftershock of the fight. How do you pack a bug out bag? Just most of it was, I think 90% of it was not on the range shooting. And then the last day we did do out range shooting.
Wow. Yeah. So if things, hits the fan, so to speak, right? Pack that bug out bag. What do you mean by that?
Well, have something, if you have to leave, if your house is on fire, have something in there. Copies of, your insurance, your paperwork, all that stuff. Even a medical kit, trauma kit, water purifiers, a fire starter. Depending on the situation that you're in, you have to know how to take care of your family if everything is destroyed. So.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. We're talking with Thomas King here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, and Florida Firearms Academy online at ffatampa.com. Self-defense expert, Second Amendment advocate. Our Second Amendment is under attack, seems like always, especially with these different, Buffalo lately, the latest thing.
That's the big one. I just saw that one of the ex-officers that was killed in that, he did a video right before this about his hydrogen car that he had invented running on water. Now, the other guy that invented that, his last words, wow, they poisoned me.
Wow.
So I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff going on with that.
Yeah.
There's always going to be mass shootings. It's evil people are evil people. There's always going to be mass stabbings. There's going to be mass bombings. There's crazy people out there. Make sure you know how to, especially in those kind of situations when we have like a gunshot wound trauma class.
Yeah.
That's not just for gunshots. That's for if you're in a car accident, how to put a tourniquet on, how to stop the bleeding, how to do CPR, and you do get certified for that. These are classes that there's no amount of money worth learning this kind of information. You could save someone's life or even your family's life.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And it's, it happens when you least expect it.
Right. And, recently I saw a really bad accident and everyone rushed over to help them and no one knew what to do.
Right.
So I'm way back there and I'm like getting out, running over there. Thank God the paramedics was showing up right there. But, people are just terrified right now. They want to pull out their video camera and video it.
Right.
And they don't want to help because helping in these day and ages, you can get sued for anything.
Right, exactly.
So they don't know what to do. Hey, should I save this person's life? It could cost me a lawsuit.
Right.
But you know what? Take a chance.
Yeah.
The one thing we did do this weekend, though, we all went out to...
let's save that for the...
We'll get in the next section.
Yeah, we'll hold that on the second side of this break here. Coming back, Thomas King, Florida Firearms Academy, ffatampa.com coming up as well. Fred Mute, Tampa Screens and Aluminum here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram, Twitter, and Getter. We'll be right back after the short break.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here. Consumer Quarterback Show powered by the Platinum MVP team. Keller Williams Realty got a hot listing here at 3045 South 78th Street in Tampa. This is from Linda on our team, 3045 South 78th Street in Tampa. This is a great opportunity as well. Another great investment opportunity, 78th Street. It's about 1,900 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2 bath. You got 2 bonus rooms, oversized patio. You got a mother-in-law suite. A lot of people love to have that additional income opportunity, 2-bedroom, 1 bath, mother-in-law suite at 3045 South 78th Street in Tampa. And it's close proximity to the aquarium, the zoo, and Busch Gardens. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, Thomas King in the house, Florida Firearms Academy here. So, congratulations on that cool thing you guys did, the home dedication to the homeless veteran. That's really neat, man.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say right for the break. We teamed up with 5 other of my good friends and pulled up enough money to have this little home built for them. At Tent City over there at Pinellas Hope, they have hundreds of vets living out there in tents, so it's time that we get them to get inside these little tiny homes. It's horrible to see these people living in tents, and this goes on throughout every city. So that's how we're treating our vets. You know, right now we're spending $4 billion to ship over to Ukraine. Yeah, we can't
$40 billion, yeah.
We can't get our vets, in a home or get them the care that they actually need. If we're spending that much money sitting over there, that means we're actually paying too much in taxes, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a corrupt country. It's the 3rd most corrupt country on the planet. We know that there's kickbacks through the oligarchs to, some of the elites, we know, and they probably are, connected to the president, as we know.
I understand they need help over there, but you know what? It's like in a plane crashing, you have to put the oxygen mask on first before you help anyone else. Yeah. And we're not helping Americans right now, and especially the people that give us our freedom here.
That's right. Yeah, the veterans, the southern border. I mean, there's a long list of people that we should be helping. Yes, we can give a little bit of aid, but not $40 billion in addition to the already, what did we do initially? We did, I think, 30-something
It
billion
just keeps
initially.
Stacking on top of everything.
Exactly.
And that's why people are taking firearm classes, training classes, and loading up on ammo, because so many criminals across the border are coming over, dealing drugs, getting your kids for sex trafficking, and that's what they want to be able to protect themselves and their family right now against these people.
Yeah, trafficking. I mean, just look at the human crisis at the border. I mean, these people are traveling 900 miles in many cases to get to the border, and they're dying along the way. I mean, there's coyotes. You see these bodies piling up, and it's just
drug lords out there just doing what they want with
it's
these
orchestrated,
kids. Absolutely. And they're selling these kids.
Right, exactly.
There's no border in the entire planet that says, yeah, come on in and do whatever you want in our country. It's all good. No border.
Yeah.
Sorry to say that, but
yeah, and it's just because they want to create this chaos in our country. They want to try to change the country and redo the whole country because, of course, it's we're based on the founding fathers were all racist and just bad people, right? I mean, that's what they want you to believe.
Yeah, and I think people are waking up to it. The Second Amendment wasn't in the Constitution to be the second thing in there. They want you to protect yourself from tyranny, from bad people, from evil out there, and that's what's very important. The First Amendment, what is that? Freedom of speech.
Yep.
Now that's becoming quickly abolished in many of these social media platforms where I'm not even allowed to speak in. Yep. So I'm really happy that you have this show that people can actually come on here and say what they want to say about the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had this ministry of truth that they dabbled with, the ministry of truth, and it ended up coming out that this person that they were going to put in place was just a total, just unbelievable. I won't even go there, but yeah. So the truth, where do you find the truth, right? There's 2 sets of truth,
right?
And then 2,000 Mules came out, Salem Media produced that movie, proving voter fraud, proving all of this ballot stuffing with cameras, with so there's two sets of truths, there's two sets of realities, and there's a double standard in the legal system too.
But is it two sets of truth, or is it one set of truth and
exactly.
one?
Exactly. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Someone sent me that link to the 2,000 Mules, and as soon as I clicked on it, it said this video has been taken down.
Well, Salem Media now, or SalemNow.com is where you can find it. That's our radio station.
Okay.
That's the group, and I'm proud to say our family radio station here actually had the moxie and to put this movie out. 2,000 Mules, SalemNow.com. You can find it SalemNow.com.
That's fantastic. I'll be sure to check it out.
Got to see it. It's just unbelievable. It is documented.
That's why people in this country are worried about, is my vote going to count this year, or next year, or the next year?
Right.
And if we don't have that, we've lost basically everything.
Absolutely. Well, the left doesn't want you to have that, and that's what they showed last time. So, yeah, definitely don't let that cause you not to go. Don't let that happen. We've got to fight harder than ever to keep our country great, keep our country great again. Making sure we have these conservative values and protecting the amendments. The Second Amendment, the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, the freedom to assemble. I mean, all these different. It's the greatest country on the planet.
Right.
Independent judiciary, the three branches of government, and this is what we have. We've got to fight. Every generation has to fight, and we're fighting our fight. It's a different type of war now too. It's not just the old line them up and duke it out,
right?
Shoot it out. It's it's all these different fronts. Social media. It's financial. It's a lot.
Kicked back up against the wall, and I'm glad Salem Medium did this because. It's an honor to vote. Not only that, it's your responsibility, and it's a huge one. Without it, to be able to know that your vote does count, that's so big for America. And you know what? It should be hard to vote. Not like, hey, you got to jump through 20 hoops to vote, but to be able to prove that was truly your vote.
Yep.
And when they're saying, you have to show ID, no, you shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah, that's Jim Crow 2.0. They say what to pull out an ID to be able to vote.
If you get pulled over by the officer, they want your ID. If you go to DMV, they want your ID. Anywhere you go, you purchase a firearm, we got to have your ID. Let's just make it to where everyone feels comfortable that your vote counts. And that way there's no discrepancy and everyone's going to be happy with it, because this is the biggest thing that we need to do to correct how America will be run.
Yeah, no more voting week or month. It needs to be a day. And if you have a valid reason, then yes, you can get a vote. That was the big thing too, is cleaning up the voter rolls. So luckily we got a lot of people in play now. They caught us off guard, but it's not going to happen again.
Right. Yep. Well, I do want to say this coming week coming up is Memorial Day. To all the families out there that have lost someone, including myself and my brother and sister, our prayers are with you. Thank you for your service, for everyone that put themselves through the craziest situation.
Right.
We're gonna do a Memorial Day Monday, and anyone, if you or your family member has ever served or is serving now, you will get free range fees at Florida Firearms Academy.
Nice.
Not a penny charge. We want to give this to you to say thank you.
Yeah, thanks for doing that, Thomas. Thomas King, Florida Firearms Academy, FFAtampa.com, online at FFAtampa.com. And definitely support it. This Saturday, go out for the chili cook-off, right?
Chili cook-off's going to be good. That means you get free chili just for coming.
Just for showing up.
You get to try like 30 different chilies, and these are people that cook the best chilies, because we're going to crown them king or queen of the chili cook-off. And we've been trying to do this once a year, but when COVID set in, they wouldn't let us do much. And what are you going to do?
Well, speaking of that, they got this vote going on this week, right? And actually right now with the WHO, World Health Organization, potentially taking over our sovereignty, so to speak, when it comes time to declaring the next pandemic, and they're already talking about it.
That'll start a civil war. I don't even understand how you can give our rights to another country to say what we can and cannot do. I guarantee you this: the people that have been sitting back and just not wanting to be involved in any of this,
right? They're
going to stand up and say, "No, not in my backyard, kids."
Yeah, exactly. And that Biden allowed them to do it. Biden put it up for the vote. There's supposedly some kind of a treaty that's going to be potentially voted for, and if it does get enacted, I mean, this is straight out of the back of the Bible too, man. This is Revelation. This is one
crazy.
World government.
Yeah,
and everybody knows WHO is controlled by the CCP.
These people are so cruel. Actually, Trump got us out of that.
Right.
And now we're back in it. I can't understand how, one election we were crushing it. We were supplying the world with oil. Our economy's flourishing. Everything's working awesome.
Yep.
And then you just do this. In a few months, you turn everything upside down.
Yep.
You can blame whatever you want. And I don't care what side you're on. Blame whatever you want. You blame the person that's responsible for it. I don't care if it's Republican, Democrat, whoever.
Right.
Hey, get it and get it right. Do it and do it right.
And
do
that's
it for
a good
the
point
people.
because for the longest time, decade after decade, the establishment Republicans were just as bad as the left, as the Democrats, because they were caving into the big businesses, they were caving into the lobbyists, they were offshoring our jobs,
right,
and on and on and on. And now the Make America Great movement has set in. One double election is going to have to win a third election to take it back, Thomas.
Absolutely. So. And you know what? Draining the swamp, that's what they have to do.
That's
Term
right.
limits, that's what they have to do. Quit making a career off the people's money. That's our money being spent for things that we don't want, things that we don't need. So, hey, get it right and get it right for the people.
That's right. Our grandkids, kids are, spending. They were leveraging their futures with all this irrational spending and just unbelievable printing of money. So, all right, Thomas. Well, how can folks find you? And by the way, go on his social media. He's doing giveaways all the time. FFA, Florida
I'm trying
Firearms.
to, but most of them don't allow me to do much. But yeah, Florida Firearms Academy on Facebook. Follow us on there. You'll see all our upcoming events. We really can't list our sales on there, but if you go to ffatampa.com, I'm proud to announce, hopefully it's next week, we will have about $200 million worth of inventory on our new webpage with our new store out there. So that will be phenomenal for you. So you don't always have to come into our store. We do have about $2 million of inventory in our store. We are the largest NFA dealer and the largest academy around with 40 different types of classes.
Nice. Always fun to go check them out and say hello to the folks over there, Quincy and the team. And it's always, every time I go in there, I end up spending too much money. but hey, it's stuff you need. It's stuff
I need that. I gotta have that.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Thomas King, Florida Firearms Academy. Always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for doing that home dedication to the homeless veteran. That was awesome. Appreciate that. Taking a quick break here. When we come back, Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, a.k.a. the Tin Man, in the house. We're going to talk with Fred, contractor, expert, contributor, consumer tips coming up. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Hot property listing, 4220 West Pearl Avenue in South Tampa. This is a beautiful property that we've got for sale. Commercial property. We, of course, do vacant land. We sell commercial properties, residential properties. We're expert negotiator as well. 4220 West Pearl Avenue, property right here in beautiful South Tampa. We've got great opportunities in all types of asset classes as well. Vacant land, commercial properties. This one on Pearl Avenue is 1,200 square feet. You got over half an acre of land, corner lot, lots of parking. Bring your contractor business and all of your vehicles and trucks and trailers and equipment. 4220 West Pearl Avenue in Tampa. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right, quick shout out to Ramin Kazami as well, Heights Pressure Wash Company here in Tampa Bay. If you need to get a pressure wash done on your residential commercial properties, Ramin Kazami with Heights Soft Wash, a pressure washing company right here in Tampa Bay. Highly recommend them. Does a great job on our real estate properties. HeightsSoftWash.com. HeightsSoftWash.com. All right, we got Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Hey, Fred, how you doing, sir?
I'm okay. I heard you my introduction. Brandon, I'm not that great, okay? I don't want to have to live up to that.
Hey, you are the best, and a longtime friend of the program here, and just very knowledgeable. We appreciate all your insights into the contractor world. You know, these contractor tips. I get great feedback from folks out in the community talking about, you know, the different types of ways that people can, you know, save time. It's all about saving time and money and headaches when it comes to these different areas of business and life.
Sure. And being a consumer show, I find it interesting for me to discuss some of the scenarios that we recently, you know, encounter. And that way the homeowner knows that it's not a perfect world when it comes to construction. There's a lot of unknowns. I've got one in South Tampa right now, and, you know, they're putting a freestanding carport in. They have to have the piers, the concrete piers, isolated footers, have to have 6 of them going in. I get a beautiful survey. The trees are not an issue, and, you know. And then we're putting stakes in the ground. We find out we can't drive the stakes down. Well, we didn't know it, but there was about 15 oaks on the property 2 years ago that they had the rights to demolish them, take them out of there. And underneath the ground, 4 inches below the grade, there it is. Everything that you don't want. The trees are still there. You know, so these are the unknowns that we run into.
Right.
And you know, you have to address it. So you write into the contract unknowns, you know, to be addressed, you know, accordingly at a later date, etc. But we try to cover all that going into it. But you're never going to catch it all. There's always going to be some little surprise that comes up to get you. But you have to make the homeowner aware of that when you sign the paperwork. You don't want the homeowner to believe that everything is going to run 100% smooth. It's going to run as smooth as we can allow it to.
Right. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
then and now, you know, because we do a lot of foundation too, and now here we are, the end of May, everything's smooth. Now the rains will hit every day.
Yeah, that's coming soon.
Concrete will be delayed. You know, but I've got 30 years doing this. It's nothing new to me. What I have to do, I have to make my point to the homeowner before they sign on the dotted line. I want them to know exactly what goes on in the business. And we write a lot of additional business based on referral from, you know, good customers that experience some Murphy's Law issues with the construction industry. And the fact that Tampa Screens and myself and the concrete people, we were all able to handle the problem in a very, very timely manner. And that's what it takes. It's just like with a real estate deal. You would know. You get into these these real estate deals where there's a lot of unknowns. And in my real estate timing, my days, you know, I can't tell you how many times it came up where the mother-in-law suite was never permitted, and then everything stops right there at the closing table. And that has to be addressed. And I'm sure you still see a lot of that, do you?
Oh, yeah, permitting issues, square footage. A lot of times people think, you know, by the way, they try to close in these screen rooms, and they consider that under air square footage when they, you know, maybe pump in a little air conditioning from the central unit, add the ductwork and whatnot, or somehow pump in some AC. But that doesn't necessarily fly because what happens is the counties, depending on each county, you know, I know Pinellas, for example, they kind of shut that down sometimes. They'll say, no, it's not the same construction type. So, for example, if you have a block construction or, you know, with a stucco build, and you add on this screen room, and then you enclose the screen room and try to do that, what I aforementioned, it doesn't necessarily add on square footage. Have you seen that, Fred?
I see it all the time, and quite often I get the request to install a standard screen enclosure, get the permit for the screen enclosure, then come back at a later date and retrofit with glass windows so that they can qualify it for square footage. And obviously we're not going to do that because that's not correct. The actual aluminum extrusions for patio are by no means designed to accept the wind load of glass windows. And a lot of people will argue that down. But if you ever look at, for example, commercial storefront, the extrusions for commercial storefront and most of your applications on your screen rooms that were built with the intention of putting glass windows in on the backside, them extrusions are a much heavier extrusion. It's a thicker metal, and it has to be because the screen enclosures are basically designed to rock and roll and sway in the wind, and you can't have that with glass. So, you know, pretty much a dead giveaway in the real estate business, and I'm sure you know this, but when you walk outside to that screen room and you have to step down, 9 chances out of 10, that's not going to be able to be permitted for habitable space. It's the same as your garage. When you walk out into the garage, you step down. That is not habitable space, and that's a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
Now, what some people do, and unfortunately this happens, they'll retrofit the screen room with the glass window, and they'll call in and they'll pay for another survey. They'll have a surveyor come in, and they'll survey the property as a glass room, and in some cases the survey shows that as habitable space. That's kind of a shortcut way to add habitable space to your home, but typically it's not, because habitable space in reality has to have the correct electric, HVAC, and a couple other things, many other inspections as well. So, you know, you see a lot of this. And I don't know how often you run into that, where it's a 30-year-old home and it's a 3-month-old survey, and it will show this retrofitted room on the back. Well, that would cost $400 or $500 to get a survey versus how much more to put the permit in for that room to be qualified as habitable space, which could be thousands.
Right.
So that's a shortcut, and I don't agree with it, but it happens.
Yeah, exactly. You know, these different scenarios come up in real estate, and we kind of navigate them on the fly in many cases. And, you know, it's a challenge. Sometimes the homeowners don't want to hear that they're not going to be able to add that extra 800 square feet or whatnot on the, you know, onto the property. But that's kind of not our rules. It depends on the municipalities and depending on what they will allow for, and the construction type is huge, as Fred said. We're talking with Fred Muth here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Fred is a longtime friend of our program here and an expert contributor in the areas of contracting. Beautiful screen rooms. He can help you build these aluminum, we kind of call it these patios, these lanais. You know, it's got a lot of names for it, Fred, but we like to call it that kind of that in-between space, right? It's not under air conditioning. It's not out, particularly in the mosquitoes and the other things. So you got these beautiful screen rooms, gazebos, and other types of additions that you can add onto real estate.
The in-between space, you coined the phrase. I use it every day. Thank you.
My pleasure.
It works. It works very well. You know, and we're still seeing prices are still going north, and people are spending. They're still buying the screen rooms. People come from out of state, from the Northeast, for example, where they sold their 1,250 square foot parcel in somewhere very close to New York City. They got 890,000 or 1.2, whatever. They come down here, they buy 2,800 square feet on a third of an acre for $500,000, and they are as happy as a clam, and they're not paying anything near in the tax bill as they were up there.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of money left over for the screen room at that point. So I remember prices a year ago, and I want to say somewhere they were probably 30 to 35% lower a year ago for the same product today.
Wow.
But still, the people are closing on their houses in the north and coming down here, and they got a little extra money, and they're going to invest in the in-between space, and of course we welcome that. We see a lot of action right now in Pasco County. Pasco is, the term on fire.
Yes.
with real estate. They got new subdivisions going in all the time. I understand that. Correct me if I'm wrong on this. The developers need to somewhat subsidize the government on some of the infrastructure prior to them receiving the permits for development. Is that correct?
It's all a package deal. Yeah, a lot of times they'll kind of negotiate those in there. Turning lanes, sewers, septics, those types of additions. Absolutely.
Well, it's very well needed. Unfortunately, they didn't put anything like that in place in Hillsborough. I'm in Brandon Riverview area, and it's practically impossible to get anywhere in a hurry. I'm sure you get over here, you see how it is.
Hey, buddy, that's our time for today. Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Fred Muth, thank you so much, my friend. Always a pleasure.
I'll see you on the 2nd.
All right,
Bye-bye.
We'll see you. Chili Cook-Off this weekend, Florida Firearms Academy. Thanks to Mark Hay, Thomas King, Fred Muth, and we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community, and we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.